Success is not absence of failure, it's persistence through failure. Aisha Tyler. My friends, just stick with this. You can do it. Don't worry about how long it takes, because when you master the charts, you will quickly make up for all the time you ever spent. Let's jump into these charts. We see the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100, that is our two stock indexes, barely eking out gains for the day. 0.06 for the S&P and 0.03 for the NASDAQ 100. As we look at the way this week starts, we can see that the week starts weak. We look at what kind of candle we have here, and it is pretty much it's hard to even see it, isn't it? It's some kind of doji. Now we look at the spinning top we had last week and all that ranging and the volume we have there. And of course that shows us that indeed we have lots of indecision. As far as the high last week, we got up to 524.38. The prior week, 524.61. The week before that, 524.11. So we got a little higher than 2 weeks ago and not as high as last week. And this week starting off really, really slow. We can see on the 2-day chart how things have moved down and through the weekly trend line. Same on that half-day chart. Moved down strong on Thursday. Just ranging all over the place Thursday afternoon, then down on Friday morning, pulling up a little bit in the afternoon, and then just sort of slinking along on Monday. So have we reached the top of this market? Well, we can't say that, because of course we've seen a red doji all the way back after the end of the year run up through December. As we started the year, it looked weak, but then the market recovered, and since then it has been unbroken in its continuing to move up. Well, continuing green candles. The weakest we have seen is last week's. It's our first spinning top since that second week in January. So we will continue to keep an eye on things, see where it leads us. We look at the NASDAQ 100, and it, my friends, is even weaker. We had a red spinning top back on the week ending or beginning March the 11th. Last week we had a doji on the weekly chart on the NASDAQ with higher than average volume. And this week we have just a red down candle, very little one. Well, let's see. Maybe it's a spinning top, just barely, really a doji almost. But you can see not much going on there at all. 2-day is below the weekly trend line. Half-day is below the weekly trend line. We'll see where things lead us as this week continues to move along. Now, what's going on with 20-year bonds? 20-year bonds are down just a little bit, 0.01%. We are going the second week of a red down candle. The nice thing we had last week was some volume above average, which we had not had before. It's good to see it last week, and hopefully we'll see bonds moving down, perhaps resetting, giving us some volume to be able to follow. Now again, down 0.01%, 0.1%, pretty much flat for the day. But our Heikin-Ashi candlesticks are showing us that indeed they are red and we have downward pressure. And we will keep an eye on things and see as we get into Tuesday if we're going to hit average volume again on that 2-day chart. The last, 4 2-day candles have been average volume or more, which is good to see. So we will keep an eye on it. What about gold? Gold, really high volume last week, shooting up to a high of 215.74. This week, already a high of 216.81. Go, 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 gold. We waited for it to take off, and again, up for the day, 0.62%, moving in the right direction. We can see these last 3 2-day candles on gold, nice, well above average volume, almost up to the average volume as it is just the first day of the latest 2-day candle, well above the weekly trend line on the 2-day and the half-day. Gold We're going long. What about HODL? Up for the day, 6.50%. Again, trying to recover. We see the high from the week beginning the 25th of March was 81.28. This week so far, 81.72. So reaching a higher high. Now, the highest of highs we have is the 83.36. So we have a bit of a ways to go. And again, let's look at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin. It's only up 3.37%. You can tell, last week and the week before, we did not have average volume on these up moves, unlike the prior 4 weeks. So we will keep our eye on things and see as we look at 195-minute and the 2-day chart. 195 minutes managed to make it above the trend line. And again, maybe we can draw a better trend line that would help us out a little more easier. Let's see, can we connect? Let's check that out. I'm trying to see. It's hard to. It's still hard to get much of a good trend line, but you can see where, it's trying to give us some sort of trend line, particularly on the 24. We look at the ETF and, a spinning top last week that doesn't match up. It's happenstance, but we will continue to wait, watch, and see. We do want to see volume matching price movement so we can feel better about it. As I told you, what I've been really hoping for is a pullback to allow things to reset so that we can chart Bitcoin and feel better about it moving with a discernible pattern. Otherwise, you just throw in money, hope it moves in the right direction, which is not the way we play the game. Got a great new training for our subscribers. Hope that you like it. It is on backtracking, a very important thing for you to understand and do. Backtracking is using historical prior moves to help you anticipate and understand how your particular stock, ETF, index, whatever it might be, could be moving based upon how it's moved in the past, and using that to help you play the predictive game that is so important in what we do. So if you like trainings that make a lot of sense and are very helpful for you in your progress, then you ought to be a subscriber at chartingwealth.com. You sign up for free. That list is never spammed, never shared. And of course, you get a training from us each and every day. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.